Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss about the for loops. So first we create a bash file. Now hashtag exclamation mark bin bash. So the first method is like we write similar to the C++ language. For loop for small brackets I equals to 0, I less than 5 colons and then I plus plus increment statement. Then we write do and the statement we want to execute when the loop executes, when the loop circulates. So it is echo num equals to the value of I, $I, and done. We must write done at the end of the for loop because it is in the syntax of the for loop. For the conditions, then the do and the conditions we want to execute, and at the end we'll write done. So at the we will write conditions, we put two small brackets on both sides. Now save the file and execute it by writing bash and the name of the file. Now it executes the number from 0 to 4 as in the conditions we wrote less than 5. So when we want to execute it till 5, so we'll write I less than equals to 5, and when we execute it, it will print from 0 to 5. Now the next syntax for the for loop. So the next one is we'll write when we write count or any variable with some constant numeric value. Let's suppose here we write count equals to 1, and then we will write for and a variable I. I is the value in which the value of count is stored, and we will call it in the for loop. So first we write for I in dollar count. Next in the next line we'll write do as in the previous method. So after writing do, we will write the condition we want to execute as the for loop condition is true. So here we will discuss, can we execute the value of I till a specific number, till a specific condition true as in the previous case. So here when we write count equals to count plus 1, and at the end we write done, and the value of count is stored in the in variable I, and it will print as echo num equals to $I. So the value of count is stored in I, and then it will be printed in the for loop, and at the end we will write an increment statement count equals to count plus 1. So we want that if count is 1, then after the increment statement it will be 2, and again it will be 3, and so on, as we do in the while loop. So after that we will save the file and execute it by writing bash and the name of the file. So it will just print the number 1 value. So for this syntax we will just execute the value which is stored in a count variable or any variable, and here we won't apply any type of conditions like we applied in the previous ones, that it will execute till the number is less than or equals to 5. So here in this case we'll try another method, another way of executing it, when we'll write here count equals to curly brackets 1 to 4 and curly brackets closed, and we will execute the same loop and just remove the increment statement. After that we will save the file and execute it. So it will print the value which is stored in count. It won't print the value from 1 to 4. So we want that it will execute from 1 to 4 using the same count variable. So we will write here 1 white space 2 white space 3 and so on to 4 with the white space, and on the both sides we will write quotation marks. Then we will execute, save it and then execute it. So now it will print from 1 to 4, same as we executed by using the first method. Now instead of using the variable count, we want to print number from 1 to 4 by replacing the variable count with curly brackets 1 dot dot to 4 and curly brackets closed. And when we execute it, it will print in the same manner as from number 1 to number 4. Look here, it is printing from 1 to 4 as using the method of variable. So we can print numbers from 1 to 4 using different methods, using the variable method, using the replacing the variable with a number sequence, a numbers from any set, like from 1 to 10 and from 1 to 20 or 1 to 5. So now we'll test another for loop syntax. Now again opening the same file, and in this file we will check how to print strings using the for loop. Multiple strings which comprise one word or two words or more than two words. So here we declare a variable data with strings new data and we will write these in brackets as with the single quotation marks. The second one is bash script, the third one is for loop, and the next one is check true or false. Now when we replace these curly brackets 1 to 4 with the variable data and save it and execute it. So when we execute it, it is just printing the first string new data as the two different variables or two different numbers. So instead of writing the calling the dollar data, we will write it as the dollar sign curly brackets data and the sign of @ in square brackets and curly brackets close, and on the both sides we write quotation marks. In this format it will print the different multiple variables, different multiple strings into separate form, into separate strings. The collection of multiple words in a single quotation marks is considered as one, and then it will print all the strings. So here when we execute it, it is printing the collection of multiple words as a single integer, as a single variable. Here when we see that new data is single string, then bash script is a single string, and for loop is a single string, and all these strings are stored in the data variable and it will be printed. The @ sign implies that all of those strings will be printed as a single string. The collection of multiple words will be printed as a single string. Here this check true or false comprise of 4 words and it will be printed as 1, and then for loop comprise of 2 words and it will be printed as 1 string, and then bash script consists of 2 words and then it will print as a single variable, a single string. And this data variable is the variable in which the values of all the strings are stored, and then these values will be stored in I, and we call this I in the output for echo function and print the required output. Today we learned about the different ways of executing for loops.
Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.